Welcome to Classic TV Funhouse. My name is Dave Sundstrom. For the next half hour, we're going to celebrate three very fantastic ladies who all played Catwoman at one point or another opposite Adam West, either on the Batman TV series or in the Batman feature film that was released in 1966. Along with stories about Julie Newmar, Eartha Kitt, and Lee Meriwether. Got some really great vintage commercials and maybe a couple other out-of-the-box surprises. So stick around and enjoy this episode of Classic TV Funhouse. We're going to call this one Cat Scratch Fever. Julie Newmar's Catwoman isn't as horrible as some of the other nefarious fiends that the dynamic duo face. In fact, Batman likes to think that she's just a little bit misguided. And if only he could reform her, much to Robin's chagrin, she would make the perfect Bat companion. Julie Newmar, well, she played her role to perfection. So anyway, without any further babbling on my part, let's get going with my 5 reasons why Julie Newmar was the best Catwoman to ever grace either the small or large screen. Reason number 1, Julie was all in. She gave that character everything that she had, so much so that she even went as far as helping to design the Catwoman outfit that she wore on screen. And it was her idea to put the gold belt around her hips because she felt it gave her a curvier look. Reason number 2, the on-screen chemistry between Newmar and West was palpable. Their connection was very real, and they had a deep respect for each other, which could be seen on screen. No scene was too ridiculous for these two. No scene was too over the top. I remember reading a comment on another YouTube video where the person said that the writers and Julie Newmar portrayed Catwoman as a really sweet, shy girl at heart, who at the end of things just desperately wanted Batman to like her, which of course he does. What this does is make her a character that you can sympathize with, even after all of the rotten things that she does. Reason number 3, Julie Newmar had sex appeal. Holy cow, Batman, did this lady know how to entice the caped crusader and pretty much every male viewer watching the program. And it wasn't just the outfit, or the bad girl who wanted to be good shtick that she did so well. No, for me, more than anything else, it was the way that she moved. Every single movement of her body sent a message which should come as no surprise because Julie began dancing at an early age and performed as a prima ballerina with the Los Angeles Opera beginning at the age of 15. Reason number 4 is this. Despite great efforts by both Lee Meriwether and Eartha Kitt, her absence was felt by the fans of the show. A simple Google search will provide the proof. Type in Julie Newmar, and within those results you'll see that more than 50 years later, fans are still asking why she was replaced in both the movie and the 3rd season episodes. In both cases, the standard answer has always been that Julie was busy making movies. But if you think about it, it is kind of odd that the movie that supposedly was getting in the way of Julie's participation during the 3rd season, which was titled McKenna's Gold, also had Burgess Meredith in it. And yet, somehow, Burgess found a way to do both the movie and Batman. I talked earlier about the chemistry that Adam and Julie had while on screen. Well, that chemistry, folks, was because of their lifelong friendship. And that is my 5th and final reason why Julie Newmar was the greatest Catwoman ever. Of Adam, Julie has said this, and I quote, "Adam was such a sweetheart. It was right there, his goodness, from the first time I met him 51 years ago. And it was the same when I met him last month." Julie went on to say that over the years, West has always been charming, and yet slightly silly. She said that their time together on Batman was the best, and the biggest feeling that they both had was just, let's enjoy every minute of this, which for these two fun-loving professionals was easy to do.
Holy Guadalcanal, Batman! What now?
What now? Why, everything's new as Batman and Robin battle crime with a battery of wonderful new Batnovations. The Batcopter, the Batboat, the Batcycle, and flash, a late bulletin from the Cape.
3, 2, 1.
The Bat Rocket blasting off. See the dynamic duo dangle from new heights of danger.
Careful, Robin. It's quite a drop.
See them batter their way through new bat ventures with old friends. Correction, fiends.
Holy dark 10 yet.
I'm not just pussyfooting around this time, Batman.
Meet their wild, weird new Batversaries, the archest criminals of all crime. Be with Batman and Robin twice weekly, in color, of course, on ABC.
I was walking along, minding my business, when out of an orange-colored sky, slam, bam, zowie and wham, 4 evil crooks came by. I was singing a song, drinking in sunshine, acting as friendly as could be. Crunch, plop, crackle and pop, they threw their curves at me. Somebody yelled, "Hey, Batman, what are you waiting for?" With a zap and a crack, I began my attack. After that, they were flat on the floor. So I'm walking along, carefully watching, in case they should make another try. Zonk, pow, here they are now, out of an orange-colored sky. There goes the last of the villains. All of you crooks beware. I'll pursue every clue that'll lead me to you. I'll let you stay, but you must change your way. Anytime there's a crime, I'll be there. I was walking along, minding my business, when love came and hit me in the eye. Scoot, scat, just like a bat, out of an orange-colored sky.
A little bit of trivia about my favorite episode, The Perfect Crime. It was interrupted by a news bulletin about a near-fatal situation on Gemini 8, as NASA astronauts Neil Armstrong and David Scott were almost killed. As such, ABC was flooded with phone calls from viewers who were not concerned about Armstrong and Scott, but instead angry about the network's decision to interrupt Batman. Now, with all this said, I do have a confession regarding why this is my favorite all-time episode. It's actually because I was able to watch and rewatch an abbreviated 3D version of this episode with my trusty Viewmaster when I was a kid. Not sure how many of you remember these things, but you'd get 7 3D images in each reel, along with a sentence or two that would move the plot along. Way back in the late 60s and early 70s, this was all we had. We didn't have VCRs. And things like TiVos and streaming services like Netflix, well, they were decades away. If I wanted to watch an actual episode of Batman, I would have to wait for it to show up on TV and catch it live. And by the mid-70s, you could only catch the show in reruns and syndication, and it would come and go. As time went on, my opportunities to watch the Adam West version of Batman became less and less frequent. But my trusty Viewmaster reels were always available for repeat viewings.
This GAF Viewmaster is a lot of fun. What do you think?
It's really interesting. The 3-dimensional color pictures are extraordinary. I find these how to play football reels very instructional. I always considered the GAF Viewmaster an ingenious invention of great educational value.
Gee. I always thought it was just a lot of fun.
Lee Meriwether is easily one of my favorite actresses on television, regardless of the decade. In fact, as I think about the 5 most memorable, most unforgettable roles of her career, at least the ones that stand out most to me, those roles span 3 decades. What? You can't think of a role that Lee put her own unique spin on during the 80s? Well, wait until the end of this video, and I promise I'll get to it. But first, let's start in the 60s, and maybe the role that Lee is most remembered for. I am, of course, talking about Lee's role in the motion picture Batman. Based on the TV show starring Adam West and Burt Ward, Lee stepped in to fill the cat suit when it became apparent that Julie Newmar wouldn't be available to play the character for the feature film. And I have got to say that while I've always been a bit partial to Julie Newmar's Catwoman, it was what Lee did with the character when she was disguised as Miss Kitka, Soviet news reporter, that really made me appreciate just how stunningly beautiful this lady truly was. Now that should not have come as a surprise to me, since Lee had not only been crowned Miss California, but Miss America as well during the mid-50s. Another one-shot role that falls into my top 5 is Lee's appearance on Star Trek during that show's 3rd season, where she played a rather tragic character named Sarah. I really can't say anything more about this episode than that. I know we're talking about a TV show that aired more than 50 years ago, but still, I hate it when someone spoils a movie or TV show for me. So let's move on to TV shows where Lee was a main character week after week. Yep, no more of this guest star stuff. I've got 3 roles that I believe are truly memorable. You know, I haven't talked much in any of my videos about Irwin Allen's classic television show from the 60s called The Time Tunnel. You guys remember that one, right? On that show, Lee played Dr. Ann McGregor, a scientist who helps the team travel safely from one time to the next. The entire cast of that show was great, and yes, that's singer James Darren there. Or should I say future star of T.J. Hooker James Darren. Anyway, sadly, The Time Tunnel only ran for a single season on ABC. But don't feel bad for Lee, because her longest running TV gig was just a few years away. During the 70s, this is how I remember Lee, aiding her father-in-law, private investigator Barnaby Jones, in solving crimes week after week. This show was originally introduced as a mid-season replacement on CBS and was a huge hit for that network, running from 1973 all the way to 1980. So, do any of you remember that Barnaby Jones was a Quinn Martin production? Back in the 70s, Mr. Martin seemed to have hit TV shows, usually crime dramas, on all of the major networks. Quinn Martin's shows all had this unique format with commercial breaks dividing each episode into 4 acts, concluding with an epilogue. Opening credits on Barnaby Jones were narrated by Hank Sims. Alright, time to get to Lee's most memorable role from the 80s, and yes, I'm talking about none other than the ghoulishly delightful Lily Munster. Anyone remember the Munsters today? On that show, Lee did Yvonne DiCarlo proud with a very true-to-character interpretation of Lily. While many of the other characters were updated for the 80s, Lee's Lily and John Schuck's Herman Munster were very similar to their 60s counterparts. And even though the Munsters today has been relegated to the video dustbin for the most part, it's important to remember that the show actually ran longer than the original Munsters, which only ran for 2 seasons on CBS. The Munsters today ran for 3 seasons in syndication from 1988 to 1991. Okay, that's 5 roles, but how about I mention one more? It might not be all that memorable, but it certainly is noteworthy. Beginning in 1971, the new Andy Griffith Show ran for just 10 episodes on CBS. And you know what? I think it's absolutely fair to say that Lee was the best thing that show had going for it. I got this album the other day, and I had this record when I was a little kid, probably about 4 or 5 years old. Now, this version is a newly updated version. It is pressed on 180-gram vinyl, so a nice, thick record. It's by a band that's called the Sensational Guitars of Dan and Dale, but there's a story behind the band that's just a pseudonym, a fake name for a group of studio musicians. And those studio musicians were something special. Have you ever heard of the artist Sun Ra? A very influential jazz, blues, fusion musician. He plays the Hammond organ on this album. Other musicians are part of something called the Al Cooper Blues Project. We've got John Gilmore, Marshall Allen, Pat Patrick, Andy Kuhlberg, Danny Cobb, and Steve Katz. Now, on the back of this album, they do also say that Al Cooper is on it. I have read other articles saying that Al Cooper, while members of his band were participating on the recording of this album, he himself wasn't there. It's kind of funny, some of the titles on this album. I don't know if you can read those. Batman's Batmorang. It's a battering. Regardless, this album came out originally in 1966 to take advantage of the huge phenomenon that was the Batman TV series. As you can see, this is featuring Batman theme. There is a version of the Batman TV show theme. It's somewhat different, as you might expect if you get a group of great musicians together and they're just having a good time. Today I'd like to share with all of you the real story behind Eartha Kitt taking over as Catwoman and the circumstances that led to her casting. And finally, I'll talk a little bit about her encounter with then-President Lyndon B. Johnson and the First Lady that led to critical backlash that impacted her career. As I mentioned a few moments ago, during the first 2 seasons of Batman, Julie Newmar brought Catwoman to life with a sexy blend of charm and cunning. But when the 3rd season rolled around, Julie was nowhere to be found. So why did she leave the show? Well, it turns out that Julie had scheduling conflicts due to her commitment with the film McKenna's Gold. The producers needed a replacement, and they were on the hunt for someone who could bring something unique and different to the role. Enter Eartha Kitt. Known for her sultry voice and magnetic stage presence, Eartha was already a star in the entertainment world. She even had a hit song that you might recognize called Santa Baby. Her casting as Catwoman was groundbreaking. Not only was she taking over a fan-favorite character, but she was also one of the first black actresses to have a recurring role on a primetime television series. I always thought that Eartha's portrayal was nothing short of mesmerizing. Her Catwoman was sleek, sassy, and perhaps just a bit more dangerous than Julie Newmar's version. Why? Probably because Eartha faced significant challenges stepping into this role. Hollywood in the 1960s, as I said, wasn't exactly welcoming to black actresses, and some folks weren't all that keen on seeing a black woman in a role that had always previously been depicted on screen and in the comics as a white woman. Because of that, the show's producers decided to tone down the romantic tension between Batman and Catwoman, and without that tension, there was no reason for Catwoman to keep Batman around if he got in the way of her nefarious crimes. That's why Eartha's Catwoman was more dangerous than Julie's. Thank heavens Batgirl was there to keep a watchful eye on the Caped Crusader during that 3rd and final season. Yep, Eartha truly made this version of Catwoman her own. And let's not forget that famous purr of hers. It added an entirely new dimension to the character. While Julie Newmar will always likely be most folks' favorite Catwoman from the TV series, I think Eartha's version was absolutely perfect because her Catwoman became a symbol of empowerment and representation. I have to believe that for many viewers, especially young black girls, seeing Eartha on screen was inspiring. She proved that talent and charisma transcended race, and she paved the way for future generations of actresses. Without a doubt, her Catwoman was a trailblazer, challenging the norms of the time and making a lasting impression on popular culture.
What a mess, and look at your grimy hands.
Well, I just fingerprinted the mob.
Holy ecad. His hands need the grime fighter, boy wonder. Pass the lava, please, Caped Crusader.
Of course.
Lava's pumice muscles out dirt and grease. Lava fights dirty hands most effectively, just as you two fight dirty crooks.
Hello, citizens. I'm taking a holiday from crime fighting in Gotham City. No rest from danger, though, because all around us is that deadly daily danger, traffic. I admire the way all you British children triumph over this danger by learning and using the road safety code, like curb drill. Before crossing the road, you stop at the curb, look right, look left, look right again, and then only if the road is clear, walk quickly across. Now, children, how does it go? At the curb, stop. Look right, look left, look right again. If all's clear, walk quickly across. Remember, be smart, be safe. Always do your curb drill.
Today I'm going to talk a bit about Burt Ward, the legendary Robin from the 60s television series Batman, who recently opened up about the untimely passing of his dear friend and co-star Adam West. In a recent interview, Burt candidly revealed the deep sadness that he felt when Adam lost his battle with leukemia in 2017. Burt believed that Adam's death should not have happened, as he really felt that his co-star had many more years ahead of him. I've read in other interviews Burt say that he believes that Adam had no idea how sick he really was until it was too late. The events leading up to his dear friend's passing were both unexpected and heart-wrenching. As they were on tour, meeting fans, and sharing their crime-fighting chemistry, Adam's health took a serious turn for the worse. But despite the challenging circumstances, Burt made the difficult decision to honor their commitments. It's hard to fathom the weight that Burt has carried in his heart since Adam's death. My guess is that when things got too heavy, Burt would take a step back and remember the incredible bond that he had with Adam. After all, these two were way more than just a couple of actors on a TV show. They were friends who spent countless hours laughing, reminiscing, and discussing life beyond the cape and cowl. And although they had their differences while making Batman, Adam was fiercely loyal to his friends. When the producers considered cutting Burt from the show completely during its third season due to budget cuts, Adam would have none of it. He was resolute that Robin had to be by Batman's side. He also went to bat for Madge Blake, who played Aunt Harriet on the show. During that third and final season, Madge's health was not the best, and she needed insurance through the Screen Actors Guild. Although Madge's appearances during the third season were infrequent, she was on the show just enough to get the insurance that she needed. Rumor has it when she found out what Adam had done for her, she baked him a cake as a way of saying thank you. I've got to say that totally feels like something Aunt Harriet would do. As much as I love the addition of Batgirl, I am so very glad that Burt was able to stick around and play Robin. Truthfully, I just can't imagine that show without Bruce Wayne's youthful Ward around. As we remember Adam West, it's great that friends like Burt and Julie Newmar are still around to remind us about the kind of feller that he truly was.
Hi, Adam West for Nick at Night with exciting news for fans of good TV. Nick at Night beats the networks. That's right. In every major market, Nick at Night consistently has a higher channel number. Take Chicago, where Nick at Night is on channel 28. That's higher than the big three networks combined. Wow. So for big TV pleasure, turn to a big channel number.
When your TV dials all the way to the right, you know you're watching Nick at Night. Grand Rerun.
The new issue of RetroFAN is out. You can preview it at tomorrows.com.
Eyes like embers with a tale to tell. It seems like all of Gotham is under your spell. You've trapped me in your claws with your shadow dance. It's true that I'm helpless, I never stood a chance. With a sly little smirk and a whip so keen. Oh, Julie, you're the vixen of the screen. Oh, Julie. Oh, Julie, oh, Julie, oh, Julie. You moved around the set with a feline grace. And that's when I fell in that tight space. My utility belt, something began to surge. Curious stirrings, I fight the urge with a sly little smirk and a whip so keen. Oh, Julie, you're the vixen of the screen. Oh, Julie, oh, Julie, oh, Julie, oh, Julie. Whispers in the dark, your name I call. In that skin-tight suit, I'll take the fall. Gotham's thief, it's my heart you steal. Julie, oh, how you made the bat's head reel. With a sly little smirk and a whip so keen. Oh, Julie, you're the vixen of the screen. Oh, Julie, oh, Julie, oh, Julie, oh, Julie. Oh, Julie, oh, Julie, oh, Julie, oh, Julie, oh, Julie, oh, Julie, oh, Julie.
You are special.
You didn't have to do it, but you did. So thank you very much for your support, for your support, for your support. Thank you very much for your support.
Click on that thumbnail, cause it's time to go. Dave's got the classics, let the memories flow. TV shows and movies that we all hold so dear. On his YouTube channel, he's keeping memories near. Dave Sundstrom, bringing back the good stuff, oh yeah.